Yes, you are audible, Joel.
Hello. Okay.
The screen is not visible.
Namaste. Is visible?
Yeah. It's visible now.
Okay. Namaste all. Pranams to all gurus. Sri Gurubhyo Namah. Ayurvedic ethnomedicinal observation of some important medicinal plant of Idiki, especially my village, Konatadi village. Myself, Joel L. Joy, final year BAM student of. Hello.
Yes, you are audible, Joel. Continue.
Okay. Final year BAM student of Harangam Ayurveda Vidyapeetham, eventually Salyam Palakkad. As we all know, Western Ghats, also known as Sahyadri, it's a mountain range extending from Gujarat to the tip of the India, Tamil Nadu. It is almost 1,600 kilometers long and is accepted as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO because of its ecological and biophysical importance. It's actually older than Himalayan ranges. It has a high level of biological diversity and endemism. At least 325 plants in this area is named named as species. Now, Western Ghats are. It is one among the biodiversity
Joel,
hotspots of the world. The average hello.
the voice is breaking so that you can turn off the video.
Okay. Is it clear now?
Yes, Joel, you can continue.
Okay. The average altitude of Western Ghats is 2,695 meters. The mean temperature is 20 to 24 degrees Celsius. The average rainfall is 300 to 400 centimeter. It has a high specific humidity and low atmospheric pressure. Actually, the Western Ghats have a major role in the rainfall of India. Southwestern monsoon and northwest monsoon is controlled by Western Ghats. The area of the Western Ghats is 1,80,000 square kilometers. That is 6% of the total land area of India. 30% of all plant species in India is endemic to this region. 50% of the amphibian species are endemic to this region. 67% of fishes are also endemic to this region. In total, there are 4,500 species of plants are there, in which 1,637 are endemic to this region. Now, Idukki district is one among the districts, one among the 14 districts of Kerala. It is one of the beautiful districts. It is second largest district also. Half of the district is covered by the forest, and it is also known as the spice garden of Kerala. The average altitude is 1,600 meters, and the mean temperature is 20 to 24 degrees Celsius. Average rainfall is 250 to 350 centimeter. It has a high specific humidity and low atmospheric pressure. Idukki district is also called as the powerhouse of Kerala because it has 20 dams and 16 hydroelectric power stations in it. It has 7 rivers which nourishes the land. There are 3 wildlife sanctuaries and 1 national park is there in Idukki. This is one among the dams of Idukki. You can see the beauty of Idukki, hill ranges and sunrise. We can see. Now, the area of topic, Konati village, it is a small village in Idukki district. It is bordered by longest Peri. It has also various geographical benefits also. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Joel, it's breaking a little bit, but it's okay.
Okay. Let's talk about Konatadi village. This is one of the, this picture is taken from Google Earth. As we see in the picture, there are valleys, rivers, hilltops, dams, and it contributes to the knowledge of the our altitude of say is 9,160 meters. Now we are discussing about the floral vegetation, like tropical semi-evergreen forest and tropical wet evergreen forest. Moving to the Bhumi, we can see that there is Parthiva and Apya Pradhana Bhumi is there, along with in the background of Agashya Bhumi also. The features of Parthiva Bhumi are full of heavy rocks. It is Ashmavati Sthira, and the soil is greyish and black. It is Shama and Krishna. Sthula Vriksha, trees are huge in nature. The features of Apya Bhumi are Snigdha Mrita, it is smooth soil, plenty of water is there, Ambuguna Bhuvishta, whitish color predominant soil is there, Shukla Varna of the soil, delicate grass and trees, Komala Trina and Vriksha are seen here. So we can conclude that the area is Parthiva Apya Bhumi in the background of Agashya also. These are some general observation of flora here. Around a lot of species are observed here, but due to the time, I will explain about 16 or 17 plants here. Now we are going to special flora and their uses in uses of our area. I once again welcome to all of you to this journey. First of all, we are discussing about a plant called as Elateria cardamom, or called as Elam in Sanskritam. In Malayalam, also it is called as Elam. As I mentioned earlier, Idukki is also called as the spice garden of Kerala, which include pepper, ginger, tuak, patra, etc. in it. One among the spices which grows mostly in the high altitude and cold climate is Elam. Elam is growing in high altitude and cold climate. It has a major commercial role in the life of farmers of Idukki. It is the most expensive spice by weight, and it is cultivated in the hills of Idukki. Its inflorescence have a peculiarity because its inflorescence is a long panicle with with arising from underground stem and coming up above the soil. As we see in the picture, this inflorescence are coming down from the underground stem and coming up above the soil and produces flower and fruit. Then cardamom is one among the member of Ariyar. It is the traditional practice of newborn babies to boost immunity and keep away abdominal and respiratory problems. It also gives good mental health also. As I stated earlier, Ela is used as a spice and a flavoring agent. Here in this area, locally these people are using it for respiratory diseases like cough and asthma. It is mainly Deepana and Vada and Lomina, so it is used in mainly in Ajirna also. When a person is suffering from indigestion as well as gas trouble, here in this area, the powder of the seed is given. So in some also in some season, the seeds are taken and it is boiled in water. This water is given for drinking purpose as well as drinking purpose. Also in this area, Brihatelam, also called as Chittelam or Kartelam, or also found in this area. That is, among species are also found here. Now, we are discussing about the second plant. It is a very beautiful plant. It is a very beautiful terrestrial orchid, Malaxis versicolor, Jeevaka. It is a terrestrial orchid, as we all know. It usually grows in the high altitudes, which have Vayu Akasha dominance there. When there is a rainy season, happens, the up tattva of the rain also also influence this plant, and the plant grows as a up prithvi tattva dominant plant. It will be in a hibernative or a samadhi state for 6 to 9 months after the blossom of flower and the shedding of the flower, etc. In the next rainy season, the mother plant gives rise to a daughter plant also. For the seed germination, there is a mixture of algae and fungus is needed for the proper seed germination of this plant. It is also called as Kurcha Shirshaka because of its brush-like appearance, and it is a hibernative, or it is the picture is in the samadhi avastha of the plant. As we all know, it is one among the Jeevaniya Gana mentioned by Vagbhara itself. Jeevanti Gakolyu Mededve Mudga Marsha Parniocha Rishabhaga Jivaga. Rishabhaga and Jivaga are part of Jeevaniya Gana. As we see in the picture, left side picture, the scaly leaves protect the plant in the hibernative state, or it protects the life in it. So Jivaga is a very important plant in the ecosystem as well as in Ayurveda pharmacopoeia. Next, we are discussing about a plant named Nerbilia aragona. It belongs to Orchidaceae family, and it is one of the source of Padmacharini. Padmacharini, in Malayalam, it is called as Ovirila Tamara. Susruta mentioned it as Manaka, and it has a synonym called Sthala Padma because the leaves are similar to Padma, and it grows on ground, so it is called as Sthala Padma. It is basically Kabhavada Shamayam. It is similar to Jivaga, grows in rainy season. Mainly the uses are in Akshiroga, it is Vrishya and it is Rasayana. Vishahara and is Mutrala. The main action is to Mutra Vahasrodas because it can be used in Mutra Krishra, Mutra Adhisara, Mutra Ashmeri, etc. In Mutra Krishra, Padmacharini along with water or Tandulavadaga or Kataka Bija Bhasma can be given. In Mutra Adhisara, according to Yoga Amrita, Padmachari Peya is indicated. According to Chigilsa Kaudagam, in Mutra Ashmeri, Kandham with Dadimastu is indicated. According to Yoga Amrita or Arogya Raksha Kalpadruma, in Netra Yoga, Dhara with the tubers along with the Stanya is also indicated. Usually in our area, pigs eat these bulbs of this plant. Malay area tribes of Idiki, especially in Mannapuram area, used this plant for anemia in children along with the milk. They used it for scorpion poisoning. They used in Netra Abhishanta like manifestation where there is itching, pain, swelling in the eye. Eye is there. Then the swarasam of the whole plant is made into dhara along with the Sita. When there is a burning sensation over the head, here in this special tribe group, Malaria tribe group, apply a paste of this whole plant on the forehead. It is very useful according to them. If a wound scar persists for a long time, then in that area the paste of the kalkan can be used. In case of there is a delayed menarche or a, immature growth of breast is seen, then these tribes give this plant as a Kshiravaka of the tuber. Then if there is a burning sensation in all over the body or during in Mutra Prorti, the Swarasa is taken and is given internally. So Padmacharini or Ovirila Tamara is also an important orchid in this area. Next, we are going to discuss about an important orchid. It is Euxine longilabris. It is a terrestrial orchid, as we all know. It can be a source plant of Meda or Mahameda. It is indicative of the richness of the soil. This soil may be more vegetative and rich in floral diversity also. Where the soil, the upper layer of soil where this plant is growing is rich with minerals and nutrients at its optimum level. So this is also an important orchid species. The next orchid species is Habenaria plantagiana. It is also called as white wonder. It is a terrestrial orchid. Usually it is growing in higher altitudes. The tubers are Madhura, Shita and Snigdha. It is edible also. Then the other orchid, another orchid species, Geodoron densiflorum. It is also called in Malayalam as Vella Pola. It is in English, it is nodding swamp orchid. It is a terrestrial orchid. The pseudo bulb with the rice gruel water is used in swelling or abscess according to Hortus malabaricus. These are some orchid species here. Other species like Europhia, etc., are also observed here. Then we are moving to other sources, other plants. This plant is a very important plant. It is endemic to southern Western Ghats and it is a red listed plant also. It is Mustica malabarica, called as wild nutmeg, Katu jadi. It has a great ecological importance because it takes part in phytoremediation. Phytoremediation is the use of plants to remove or destroy contaminants of soil and groundwater. Usually near to a wild nutmeg tree, most probably there is a chance of observing a water body, which is actually meant for phytopurification or biopurification. This purification may be also seen in our body to clear our srothasas. It can be used also. Here in our area, this is used for used by farmers for budding it on with budding it with local varieties of jadi, Versica species also. It is usually more tikshna than the usual nutmeg because for the growth of this plant, it acquires more tikshna, ushna guna from the atmosphere or the surroundings, even if it is prithvi apradhana bhumi. Because so it is more ushna and tikshna than the other species, other natural variety also. Because of the cleansing activity, it is a phytopurificatory activity. I have some questions. For further questions for research, does it have any action on Mutra Vahasrodas? Does it clear the Avilada of Mutra? It is a further question. It can be a research purpose of or something like that. In the right corner, we can see a profuse red exudation from the bark is observed. Locally, the local use is in children when stomach is upset. The bark is boiled with the water, and the water is given in between many times. Also, in the left bottom, we can see the array. It has an expectorant activity. It has a Shidatwa in it. It is in Ushna climate. It is used as drinking water. Some people use this for a fever or cough burning sensation in folklore practice. The same malaria tribes use it for a special disease called as Vairapunna in Malayalam. That is GI tract ulcers. We can say that. Then the Bhalamajja is also very much Vadanilomana. So when we were kids, mother give it for any kind of stomach upset or diarrhea as the first line of management. Sorry. Also, after wound healing, the paste is applied to prevent a scar formation also locally. The next plant is also an aromatic tree with more mucilage on bark and leaf. It is Persea macrantha. It belongs to Lauraceae family. In Malayalam, it is called as Kulamavu. It can be termed in Sanskrit as Pichiladaru. Respected Dr. Niranjan Prabhu sir done a research on this tree. It is actually endemic to this Western Ghats. It is very much Pichila and Snigdha and Slekshna as we see in this picture. This stickiness can be used in any cases of discontinuity of bone, ligament, tendon, skin, etc. So, due to this stickiness, we can use it in fractures, we can use it in ligament injuries, we can use it in tendon injuries, we can use it in muscle injuries, we can use it in ulcers, wounds, etc. also. This kind of observation is needed for understanding a drug in Ayurvedic terms, because we want to examine the drug in Panchendriya. As I stated earlier, it is an aromatic drug. As Gandhavadi Prithvi, we can say that Prithvi dominance is there. As we see in the stickiness or Snigdha Tattva, we can infer that there is a Prithvi or Aptattva is there. So that much Prithvi or Aptattva is this in the plant. Then this tree can be used in Vada dominant conditions. It can be Sandhaniya, it can be Shodhara, it can be Vedana Sthavana, it can be Vadahara, as I shared already. Traditionally, folklore practitioners used it for treating asthma, joint pain, mental ailments, fracture, ulcer, weakness, general debility, etc. So, the paste of leaf is used in wound, ulcer, or swelling. In ligament injury mainly, the bark paste can be applied along with egg white in the affected area. So this is a very important plant in Ayurveda pharmacopoeia. It is very much Sandhaniya in nature. Then we are discussing about very common plant Helictrus isora avartini. It is also called as East Indian screw tree. In Malayalam, it is termed as Idambiri Valambiri. In Ayurveda, it is stated that Tridosha Udara Shulagni Krimi Roga Vinashini. It is beneficial in Tridosha Shamana, it is beneficial in Udara Shula, it is also beneficial in Krimi Roga. In this plant, Prithvi Tattva is dominant more because the bark skin is more much strong enough to make ropes in olden days for tying things. In folklore practices, it is widely used in many conditions. The 2 drops of Thailam prepared from Avartini, it is used in Karna Nada, Karna Shula, Pudi Karna like conditions by some of the tribes in Idukki district. Also, in another Jatrurdhva Bhaga, chewing the bark, it is beneficial for chaladanda or loose tooth. It is very much beneficial. Also, chewing of the bark and also swarasa also can be used. Due to the Prithvi Tattva dominance, it can be used in Kshata conditions. Paste of the bark mixed with kanji is beneficial, especially in bone-related traumas. Paste with egg white is also can be used. Here, the powder of the seed are taken along with the honey in Kosthasrata Vyadis like Adisara, Shula, Chardi, etc. In Prameha also it can be used as a Swarasa or Kashaya of the root skin. It can be used. In some skin manifestations, diseases in skin also it can be used as a paste. When we take Loka Purusha Samya here, we can assume that we come across Ida Nadi, Pingala Nadi, Sushumna Nadi. Like that, it is in a mutually rotating manner. So it can be an affection towards Nadi Vyuha also. In our area, it is used as an ornament in hip, locally called as Aranyana. In children suffering from krimi, it is used as an ornament. Also, it is a kesha taila for the hair growth. Some tribal groups use it for heel pain, amavada like conditions. It is very much beneficial. Then we are discussing about a very rare and a potent medicine, excellent medicine, Ophiorrhiza mongosa. It is called as Sarpakshi. It is called as Sarpakshi because of its resemblance of a flower with the eyes of snake. In Malayalam, it is called as Kiripunda because it is very much beneficial in Visha, especially in Sarpa Visha. Sarpakshi, it is a Bhavana Dravyam of some of the Rasa preparations. Also, it is given in Udara-related diseases like Chardi, Shula, etc. It is a very much rare and a potent medicine. Ophiorrhiza mongosa Sarpakshi is a very much potent medicine. It is also used in Sarpavisha also. Then, very common drug, we are discussing about Clematis zeylanica. It is it belongs to the Ranunculacea family. In Samskrita, it is called as Dhanavalli. Malayalam, it is termed as Vadakudi. It is basically Vata Kapashamana. According to Yogamrita, it is useful in Vicharchika-like conditions. It is Tikshna, it is enough to penetrate. It is a penetrating smell. It has a penetrating smell also. When discussing about the folklore uses in headache, the paste of Dhanavalli along with the salt is applied on the forehead for headache. In nasal blockages, the cut twig is allowed to smell. Then it cures the blockage of the nasal blockage. Also in headache and upper respiratory tract infections, mainly the smell allowed to smell. The twig is the squeezed twig covered with a cotton cloth. It is allowed to smell. It is very much beneficial in headache and upper respiratory tract infections. Then in some areas, the root is used for viper poisoning and skin diseases also. The smell of this plant, it is intense enough to penetrate sukshma srodasas of the body. Also, next we are discussing about a very common plant, Garcinia cambogia. It is also called as fish tamarind or Malabar tamarind because it in making fish curry in Kerala. The rasa of the plant or the fruit is amla rasa and kashaya anurasa is there. The thailam can be prepared from the seed of this plant. Folklore practices include they are used it in Pakwasha, Roga, tonsillitis, burns, Garbhasha, Shodhana, etc. etc. Next, we are discussing about a rare plant or a very rare plant. It's called as Casita filiformis. In Ayurveda, it is named as Akashavalli. In Malayalam, it is named as Moodilatali. The leaves are reduced to scales. The leaves are very much reduced. It is actually a parasitic plant. The karma are, it is Agni Deepana, it is Shobhara, it is Krimihara, it is Togrogahara. Where there is an itching, it can be used in Togroga manifestation. It is a Acacia thaila also. In folklore practice, the use of this plant along with the thaila is applied on head for the promotion of hair growth. In Netra Abhishanda like conditions where there is a burning sensation, dara with the juice is indicated. Then where there is a swelling, the paste is applied on the part affected. In Ajirna also, the small quantity of this plant, this virus of the plant is taken and it is made into takra, and it is very much beneficial in Ajirna like conditions also. The very unique yoga or a unique combination is in Abhikadaja Shobha, Vasa of the wild boar along with the source of Akashavalli, it is very much indicated or can be applied over the area. But fortunately or unfortunately, hunting and taking the meat of wild boar is illegal in India. It is punishable offense. So much care should be taken in that. The next plant is it is a Solanum torvum. It is a source plant of Brihadi. Actually, this Malaria tribes groups of Idiki, it is used as an abortifacient. Usually, in our area, it is given in cough or tonsillitis conditions. It is raw fruit is very much beneficial in pinworm also. Mainly, its action is to Pranavasaurus and Vada Kapashamana. Folklore practices include in some areas of Tamil Nadu, it is used as a food. It is used as a food in Tamil Nadu. In cracked food, the local application of this paste is very much beneficial. In burning sensation or whole body burning sensation, the leaf juice is taken internally. Next plant is Cucumis sativus or hardwicky. It is also called as wild cucumber. It is very much tiktarasam, intense tiktarasam. It is not usually edible, but in locally it is added with small quantity, added in small quantity with other food items for creamy-like manifestation. But it causes intense virajana also. Intense tiktarasa and it causes virajana also. Here, the fruit pulp is used for treating ulcers and some other inflammatory conditions also. Then the next plant is Zingiber cernum. It is curved stem ginger in English. In Malayalam, it is called as Malayinji or Katinji. It is an red-listed plant by IUCN. In tinea versicolor infection, the paste is applied on the affected part is very much useful in this area. We are using that. According to modern researchers, the essential oil extracted, so isolated from the Zingiber cernum, is an antimicrobial activity. It has an antimicrobial activity. Then moving to the last plant, it is also called as Motiparam. It is a beautiful endangered evergreen tree, usually seen in southern Western Ghats. It grows usually in evergreen forest, but now it is some nurseries are breeding it. It is a favorite food of elephants, turtles, and some reptiles. It is made into pickles by the local people, and it is very much healthy. It has similar qualities with our amalagi. We can see the picture of fruits. Very beautifully arranged fruits are there in the tree. It are mainly localized to the bottom part of the tree. So it is called as Motiparam in Malayalam. It supports an ecosystem, basically a major role in food chain. Concluding my session, the future perspective are more exploration, explore more and more areas, explore more and more plants, identify them and add to Ayurveda pharmacopoeia, then document it for the further generations. Conservation and preservation is also very much essential for the further generations to study on it. Multiplication is a main task in this era. Formation of natural clubs, nature clubs, and making awareness about these plants and these environment conservation, etc. So we can together make a healthy environment and can live healthily more. Thank you very much. The sky of Ayurveda is vast and open. Let's explore more and more drugs and all. I express my sincere gratitude to the most respected Dr. Ajayan sir for encouraging us to do this kind of presentation and given a lot of data. Thank you, sir. Also thanks to Dr. Vipin sir and Dr. Niyachechi and all Ashtanga family. I thank all. Very especially thanks to our great Guru Vaidya and Prasad sir for guiding us in the field of Ayurveda. Very much thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thanking all supporters, family, friends, and all. Thank you very much.
Well, now let me extend a hearty welcome to Mr. Ram Manohar Sai, BMS final year student, Ashtangam Ayurveda Vidyapeetham, to share his knowledge about Ayurvedic ethnomedicinal importance of paddy field ecosystem. Welcome, Ram.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Is my screen visible? Hello? Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's